I basically, I mentioned the trolling that I'd received over this takeover from various accounts. And a lot of it was also about the interview that I did with Tommy Robinson on my channel. Now, the reason that I had to do an interview with somebody who is quite clearly, against Islam, he's an Islamophobe. The reason that I did that particular interview was because me personally, my character was being attacked. Now, it was being attacked because there was a photo that had got into the public domain of me with Tommy Robinson. He turned up in a bar where we were watching an England game. And essentially, there was a photograph taken, which was never supposed to see the light of day. I jumped onto this photograph with my mates, the one that is all in the photograph. It's a big regret because doing something like that, it looks as if you're supporting this person. However, a journalist then got a hold of that photograph and was going to write a story to suggest that I was some kind of far-right extremist. Now, anyone who doesn't know me would look at me and think skinhead, Geordie, thug, and somebody who quite clearly probably goes to EDL events and is a big fan of Tommy Robinson. And there's a photograph that proves it. And that's exactly what you're talking about what's happened with Muslims over the last 20 years. Somebody with a beard, somebody with a rucksack on going to a concert or going out for the bus is somebody who's looked at as, oh, well, that's probably a terrorist. And that is the kind of world we live in now. You're judged on the way you look. You're judged maybe on a photograph, which, a photograph can tell 100 different stories. But that takeover that we've just been through, that for the last 2 years is what I've had to deal with on social media, Abu, being called a racist. Now that the takeover has gone through, it seems to have died down from a lot of these faceless anonymous accounts. But I have had that, thrown at me. So what I decided to do earlier this year, I decided to try and track down Tommy Robinson and get him for an interview. So I stuck him on my platform on my Steve Wraith YouTube, and I interviewed him. And it was probably the most severe interview he's ever had to do. He's faced Piers Morgan, he's faced all these other people, but I did a 2-hour interview with him, Abu. And I asked him every single question that everybody wanted to ask. Fair enough. He gave answers which people would imagine he would give. And, he was fairly non-committal on stuff, but he answered everything. But I had to do that to protect my own reputation, Abu, and it's very, very similar. And that was why when you reached out to me this week and said, via Stu Armstrong, would you mind coming on your podcast? I was more than happy to do that because I agree with you. I think this takeover at Newcastle will really put us at the forefront of building relationships in the community. Amongst people. And I think we are a very multicultural society anyway. I'm proud to come from Newcastle because Newcastle is black and white, and it's black and white strips, but it's black and white in the community. We live together side by side. And I do feel that so many other areas in the United Kingdom could take a leaf out of the Northeast's book and would be a much better place.